one. Episode 10. What's up, Brady?
Oh, yeah, people. Welcome to the season finale, SOS Steps of Success. Welcome, good people.
This is the season finale. Brady, man, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I just want to applaud you and applaud us for setting out on this journey and actually creating 10 episodes. It's a lot to go through planning and editing and shooting and time working with family and things like that. So I just want to I'm just grateful again to have such a good friend that I can even trust to do this with, So I appreciate you, Alex. I appreciate you. I think you just flat out rock at life, and I'm glad that I know you.
Man, likewise, man. To create content that will be available to people as long as the internet is available. That's special, man, And big shout out to all of you as our community. Without you, this opportunity would not have been as successful as it's been and could possibly become. So shout out to all the community, all of you who like, comment, share, and let people know about what has been happening. Big up to you all. I hope you've been impacted by season one that had great value and all the things you shared. So absolutely salute to the incredible people, man, that choose to rock with us. It's been really special for sure.
And shout out to everybody that put in the work and the dedication to make it to 10 episodes. Yeah. Put in the chat if you've made all 10 episodes and you've gone through since the beginning and you've been with us since episode 1. Put 10 in the chat below.
That's good. I like it. Put 10 in the chat. I like it, man. I like it. Let's get into this. Episode 10 is going to be special, very rewarding for all of you who are checking this out. We decided to do something special. Before we get into that, we want to just briefly recap episode 9. We went into stock options. Stock options was all about episode 9. We talked about what stock options are. We talked about calls. We talked about puts. We talked about the risk factor, paper trading, all that kind of good stuff. And so if you've heard that term or have an interest in that term, I'm telling you, you want to go back, watch, and rewatch episode 9. Brett E., what would you add to that as a part of the recap?
Yeah. Oh, before I get into it, I almost forgot to say konnichiwa, ni hao, hola, and what's up to the people. I know people would have got on me if I had dropped that in the season finale. I would have made a big blunder, as my mom would say.
That's good.
We definitely want to welcome everybody that way. As far as options, the one thing that I would add would be some of the three major factors that add to the value of a call option is, again, the strike price that you set. Also, the time factor that you are buying to be correct in your guess of a stock going up and down, and the volatility, meaning how many dollars does the stock swing up and down on a given day. Those are some of the main factors. There are more factors as you do your own research that you will find that add into those, but those are the major factors to consider as you are, approaching the options market and you're learning your way through the options chains. And that being said, we are not financial advisors. Do your own research. It is up to you and you alone to determine the risk factor for yourself and your family based on your finances, and then determine, what allocation that you want to put into the market. Remember that, the market has the ability to go up and down. Everything doesn't always work up, right? So you have to make your own decisions and be grown. These are just two individuals very passionate about finance and helping you understand finance so it's not a mystery to you. So you can go from being a little bit, tentative about being in the market to taking your steps and first steps and feeling more confident about investing in the market.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You heard it. It's official. Let's get into it, man. Episode 10. So obviously over 9 episodes, you'll have seen and heard a lot of content, maybe introduced to you. Maybe it was new information, or it was updated. It was a refresher for you. Maybe it was advanced, who knows? So regardless of where it was, we shared a lot of key content. And so in episode 10, we wanted to highlight some of the key things that came away from season 1. And man, Brett and I just want to have a conversation with you. We want to have this dialogue, talk about what we've learned, what we've experienced as well, and hope that you will find a lot of value from this. And so I'm gonna kick it over to my man Brett first. Like, Brett, what's just like, one or two, who knows, even 3 things that, man, just really hit home for you in season 1.
I think, well, let's go one for one. Like, I'll take a shot, I'll pass you the ball, you take a shot, pass me the ball. We'll do it that way. One of the main things that I like people to keep in mind is that rule number 1 of you should only put the amount of money into your stock account or invested into the stock market, or as we were talking about crypto markets, even like a small portion into the NFT if you're that risk averse, if your risk tolerance is that far out. Only put that up, the amount of money that could evaporate totally, could go to zero, and it wouldn't even affect the rest of your week. Now, that's going to be different for each person, but I think that's something that's very important to keep in mind as someone's taking their first steps into the market. What's one for you?
Definitely. As an investor, which all of you are, as an investor, understand that as investors, it requires a long-term perspective. Understand that we live in a world that at times can be very much now. When it comes to investing, is taking off, that hat, and it's wearing a different mindset that really thinks long term. So with that, you have to think, hey, I'm in this for 10, 20, 30, however long you're here, plus years. And the benefit of that is that those who are here once you're gone benefit from the decisions that you are making now. Like that long-term mindset, that long-term, I'm investing in these quality top companies. I'm investing in these companies, and for the long term, it just changes everything. And again, you want to be careful when it comes to your debt ratios with that as well. Like, man, having the freedom to pay down debt, then invest, it helps so much, because if not, you'll possibly end up pulling from your long-term portfolio to pay for expenses or debt or what have you. And so long term is definitely like a big thing to keep in your mind, because hey, you're an investor, and I'm proud of you for sure. What you got, Brett?
Yeah, long term is super key. I was talking to some friends not so long ago that I was like mentoring them into the first steps in the market.
Yeah.
And I remember them like saying like, I started investing, and then like all of a sudden like my money went down, right? And it was just like, for whatever reason, that's how it works almost all the time. The second that we get into a trade, it'll go down, and then like the second we sell a trade, it'll go up more or something like that. That's just like part of the luck of the market or whatnot. But that should only really affect you if you're not in it for the long term. Like if you're, like Alex was saying, if you're thinking 5 years down the road, $5 swing in a stock should not bother you. Another factor that I would say,
because mom and dad said you're doing great with the kids. And they would know a little something about that. Because your son actually ate something green and liked it. Any win is a reason to come to Maggiano's. So stop by anytime for a great time every time. Celebrate every win at Maggiano's.
is kind of like baby stepping your way into the market by starting off with ETFs. Start with ETFs because they allow you to spread that risk over a large amount of companies to where you're not like up at night wondering what's going on with your account or how you're not sweating because you built a base in ETFs.
Yeah.
What about you?
That's good, man. ETFs are, for me, it was my starting place. I would encourage it. Like, it's so important to build that. And we spent, man, quite a bit of time talking about that, like the importance of the foundation. So, like, honestly, while my portfolio is somewhat down at the timing of this video because the overall market is down, um, it's not 70, 80, 60% down because what I have in place as a foundation have not had a incredibly major drawdown. So I love the fact that you said that. I would add the importance of, as an investor, I'm gonna say that this multiple times as episode because that's what you are. You're, as an investor, you have to invest in yourself, which means, like we said it over and over again, the power of doing your own research. So with education as an investor, I would say this: like, no one cares. I don't care who they are. I don't care the financial advisor, whoever. It does not matter. No one cares more about your money than you do. No one does, because they don't have to live with the future that you are creating. Like, you have to live that out. And so while you may have people who you trust that give you input, at the end of the day, you're saying yes or you're saying no. And you have to have the access to the information to be able to say yes or no. Right. And so as an investor, the educational part of investing in yourself, of knowing what to do at what moment, not like extremely detailed, but just to have, like, hey, I know what it means to be in a bear market or a bull market. I have an idea of how to look at a chart and when to buy and when. I have an idea. So education as you invest in yourself would be a big thing that I would just highly just encourage you all to continue to do as we go forward. Like, as an investor, it's on you, and you have the power to create like a really an incredible future. So I would definitely share that, man. The educational piece and investing in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and once you have the knowledge, you got, like, people can't take that away from you. Once you invest the time and take the responsibility for your family to gain the knowledge and not just like push it off on some money manager, for example, and then just trusting them with the knowledge, and then you just stay ignorant of the knowledge when the knowledge is free, like it's out there on the internet. You just have to put in the time to go get it. But once you get it, you'll be much more informed. Even if you keep the money manager, you'll be able to know the lingo that they're talking about. And if something comes up that doesn't click with you and doesn't make sense, you'll have more of a knowledge base on like where to bounce that information off of.
Absolutely.
Let's see, another key factor I would say is taking the time to YouTube learning charts and learning like key levels when you're watching a stock that you like, which in my opinion should first come from one of the top, maybe let's say top 5 that's in your ETF. When you're moving from ETFs to individual stocks, you should be probably looking at one of the top 5 holdings that are in the ETFs that you like. And then taking your time to, just check. It's easy to have like a little stock app on your phone to where you just look down at your phone right before you're making a text message and just see where your top 3 favorite stocks are moving that day. And then you'll start becoming familiar with it. If something takes a crazy move down, then maybe that's a buying opportunity. So like the grocery store mentality, that's what I like to tell people to keep in mind as we go through what could be, a little bit challenging times in the market.
Yeah. I tell you, Brett, like, man, I'm glad you shared that because, and I don't know one way. That's just be really honest and be really candid, right? Like, as an investor, like you have the ability to learn the things that you just described, Brett, like for our community, like they can learn those things because I forget which episode it was, man. One of the earlier ones, we were sharing that like if you know how to find a good sale on something, clothing, shoes, whatever, you know how to invest, right? And so getting around the terminology, as you're saying, you're talking about trend lines, you're talking about charts. So basically you're introducing your mind to concepts and you're choosing to be around that type of information. Like it just changes everything. Like if there's I'll say this. If there's someone, maybe you didn't grow up in a household where finances were actively discussed or talked about, right? And I don't know how many of you to a T grew up in that kind of household. I want to speak to you just for a moment. I want you to know that the power of investing and compound interest and understanding when to the best times to enter into buying a stock or ETF, it has the power to change everything. Like because, and then I'm gonna go at the break E on this one as I say this, but because here's how I like to say it. If you love your job, great. Go for it. Keep going. If you love what you do, you're passionate about it, that's great. For those of you who don't, let me share this with you, right? You were not born with the W-2 attached to your birth certificate. You were not, which means that you have the ability, you're so creative to create what you like, man, to create a different future, regardless of your past. And that's what I want you to know this as in this season 10, like all this content, all this information, it means nothing if you don't do something with it. Like the actionable steps, all the homework, all the takeaways, read, like
Yeah.
if we don't do something with it, man, it means nothing. And so, like, taking the opportunity to really get after it. I'm really passionate about this. Brett is super passionate about this. Like, we're just really passionate about seeing people learn and invest and grow. And so that's how it would be definitely be the actionable items would be taking steps on that would be a big thing for sure. Yeah, man.
And speaking of like action steps, something that kind of like get back to from one of our early episodes is like if people are married or you have like a boyfriend girlfriend situation or what have you, like don't put it on your spouse to be the only one that can get the information for the family.
Yeah.
Like that part still is something that I'm really passionate about, people getting out of their own way of thinking that like, oh, well, my husband just does that or my wife does that and I just let her do whatever and I just hope it works out. Like, hope it works out. Like it's both of y'all's responsibility for the family. So like every individual should be responsible for for taking on that knowledge. And then another another point was like, I think in our culture, it has been we have been led to believe in some parts that investing is gambling and that we shouldn't be taking part in the market and
Yeah.
we should just like be happy having our jobs and that, you know, just pay us just enough to stay, but not enough to like super advance where we want and not take like chances with that little gap to start building a bridge or another stream of income. I really want to caution people about getting caught in that trap of being told that investing is just gambling. Because like
Yeah.
if it was just gambling, why do the wealthiest people on the planet do it?
Yeah.
But all of a sudden we're supposed to not do it? Doesn't add up.
Yeah. You said streams of income. That was a banging episode. Or we talked about like, I mean, you went into like Airbnb and all that.
I think the volume just dropped on your side for me. I don't know how.
It did? What about now?
Yeah.
Is the joy for me. I love bread. I love bread. I now just manage it, so I don't deny myself bread. I have bread every day. I have bread every day. That's the genius of this program.
For sure. For sure. For sure. Let's see. I'll do it.
So you're up with any kind of keys that you want to leave with the people.
Yeah. And I tell you, like, Brett, given what you just said, like, you brought up streams of income, right? I forget which episode that was, but that was a really key episode talking about streams of income. And so here's what I wanted to make to bring it out as a reminder around that is I've learned this tactic that I can drop in episode 10. I don't think I shared it before, which is like now when it comes to anything that I want to purchase, right? If it's like a vehicle, if it's whatever it is, right? That I don't buy it unless I have like an asset that can pay for it, right? So when I want to, for example, good example, there was a vehicle that I purchased maybe 3-4 years ago, something like that. And so what I did is I turned one of my properties into a rental property and made sure that the income that I received was well over and above where I needed to be. So that house paid for this car. So like that's man, that's the power of investing. Like you can literally create. It's like it gives you the ability to print money. Like when you go to a job, you're earning money, right? When you invest, you can create stock market, real estate, whatever. You're actually able to, in a sense, print money or create. And that's man, a major thing of like streams of income is that in this game of investing, like you get to make money when you're asleep. It's changed my life, man. It's totally changed, and I know like I'm not at the epitome of whatever it is of whatever that far fetched thing is. Like I'm so good with where I am now and where I'm growing that I'm not even like trying to reach some goal. It's like no, I'm preparing myself to be able to provide for my family in a way where I can spend time with them wherever I want, whenever I want, and like and the investing it just compounds and grows as it does. But honestly, I'm at a place now I'm not aspiring to be anybody, have anybody else's money, any of that. And so you all can do this. Like it's in you. Like Brett and I are young, and we're very young, but we've had the opportunity to do something really, really special. And I hope this is really helping you all for sure. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm trying to think of any other things that we want to make sure we hit for the folks out there.
Can you?
Um,
I have one real quick. Can
yeah.
you break down? And this I want to hear this. Can you break down for them again the grocery store concept? Like, give us one more time, man. The grocery store.
Yeah, so the grocery store mentality is basically like looking at stocks and investments in general. Once you believe in the company and you've done your research and you like where the company's going, you've looked over the past like 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, you've seen the growth of the company and you like that company, you believe in them, similar to like I like mangoes, for example. Mangoes have a certain price that they're normally traded at, right? So, for example, it could be like 50 cents a mango, or a dollar, let's say $1 a mango. But then at certain points in the season, mangoes will drop to 50 cents a mango. And I don't look at the mango and be like, oh God, they just dropped 50 cents. Let me run away. Let me switch to grape. I should probably switch to grape. No, I like mangoes. So when they drop in price, as long as no new information has come out saying like, you turn into a zombie if you eat mango, then I buy more mangoes. It's a buying opportunity when they drop in price. So similar thought process to stocks and companies that you like, and ETFs, for example, if you believe in the company and you've done your research, when they drop in price, that's a buying opportunity because they're going on sale. That's the grocery store mentality that we have and that we talked about in a previous episode, Fred.
Epic, man. That will forever be in their minds. Forever, man. Forever. Brady, we gotta let them know the Apple Challenge.
Yes. So as you guys remember from, it might not have been the first episode, it might have been like episode 2 or 3 or something like that, but Alex and I started a challenge with each other for 100 shares of Apple stock. That was the first one that we're going to take down 100 shares from. And so just a little update in the foot race of that. Alex has gained a lot of ground on me. I'm just barely edging him out right now. But it is like, it's neck and neck right now. And I love it. Like, we'll just hit each other up and be like, oh yeah, by the way, just bought another Apple share. Just bought more Apple share. So we keep each other up to date with like what number of shares that we're at as we keep climbing and eating that elephant one bite at a time.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Brett, man, any season 1, man, as we wrap it, what kind of final words, final thoughts do you have?
Just like the action step of surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So find 3 friends of yours and forward and share episode 1 with them. So find 3 friends, share episode 1 with them so you can start getting like-minded people around you. And that will help like support your goal, and maybe find like the people that are like accountability partners that keep you accountable on getting your shares of ETFs as you're building up your base. That's the thing that I would just leave with the people on the way out.
That's good, man. Community, there's nothing like it. Nothing like, man, building with others, man. And I simply would, honestly, I'm just gonna disagree with you, man. I think the power in that and not being isolated, and actually like the community, man, that piece is big. We share a lot of books and contents and things that you can do as far as action items. And so now is that time. The information has been provided, the info has been provided. Now it's time to take action. And we believe in you. And so like I just truly hope you just truly be encouraged by episode 1. You know we can't wrap it without my man Brady. You are the official exit. You know.
All right. So on the season finale, we want to say to everyone, sayonara, zaijian, adios, take action, and we'll holla.
We're out.